Connecting minds and creating the future that is right for all of us is the theme for the Dubai Expo, and Uganda is exhibiting at the Expo. Our theme as Uganda, right place and the right time. We are joined here this morning on Good Morning Uganda by the head of investment promotion, and that is Mr. Martin Muhanji. Good morning to you, Mr. Martin Muhanji.
Good morning, moderator.
My name is Priscilla Naloga. Delighted to have you here with us on Good Morning Uganda.
Pleasure meeting you all.
Okay. I'm alongside Felix Nkunda and Robert Chirabo that will be engaging with you later on. But we want to know that while you are at the Expo, what are the major opportunities that are expected to actually be tapped into by Ugandans during the Dubai Expo for the next 6 months?
Okay, very quickly, let me first highlight the key objectives of why we're here in Dubai. The first objective is to promote and attract foreign direct investors into Uganda. So we want to use the Expo space to bring in more investors into our space, investment space. The second objective is to promote Uganda's trade exports and create more opportunities for Ugandan exports. Third is to promote tourism opportunities, and that is increase more tourist receipts. Lastly, we are here to enhance bilateral relations between Uganda, UAE, and participating countries. Now, let me quickly answer your question. Major opportunities ahead of the Expo. Our priority sectors that we are currently promoting here in Dubai, agriculture, and our focus is on agro-value addition. The second one is to also promote our mining sector, again focusing on value addition. And then we are also promoting the tourism opportunities, infrastructure, ICT. Those are the key priority programs that we are currently promoting. And what we are doing here, in summary, we are signing investment deals, and in the first 5 days, we signed investment deals worth $640 million. Our objective and our strategic focus in the 6 months is to sign $4 billion worth of investment deals, and we bring these foreign investors into Uganda. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Muhanji. One would be wondering, what is our current Uganda investment portfolio?
Our current investment portfolio in terms of foreign direct investments, we've been driving investments worth $1.2 billion every year. Now, of course, with COVID that disrupted the entire supply and demand chains, our foreign direct investments dropped from 1.2 to $800 million last year, financial year. So what we are now targeting is to make sure that we drive back these investments to over $1.2 billion that we were previously getting, and even get more. So you can see that in 5 days, getting 640 million, that's a great milestone. That's a great achievement. Over to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, of course, while we are in Dubai, we do have manufacturers being represented. We do have producers. Maybe you could share with us the profile of those that are currently showcasing or exhibiting for the Team Uganda in the Dubai Expo. But also, we want to find out how best are you facilitating them to position themselves to get to tap into the investment opportunities there.
Okay, we have various investors. We have Ratomiric, that's in the dairy sector. We have those who have been showcasing macadamia, agricultural products. And now what are we doing? I think the key question is that you're asking, how are we facilitating them? Now, what we are doing here is, number one, to do matchmaking. Besides promoting the investments that I've talked about and driving the foreign direct investors to our local investors, we are trying to match make their products with with those of foreign investors, and then create that kind of rapport and partnership. That's what we are doing here, and we have succeeded in one of the projects where we signed an investment deal. A local a local partner interested in pharmaceutical products, manufacturing pharmaceutical facility was partnered with a Chinese company, and that we're going to bring it to Uganda. So that's one of the greatest achievements we are doing here, matchmaking and creating partnerships for locals.
Okay, still on manufacturing and production, we want to find out what are the challenges that have been experienced by local manufacturers while building up to creating themselves a portfolio that can attract investments, and also what is government doing about it to find remedies or solutions in regards to those?
Okay, the challenges that manufacturers are facing, it's a hybrid of challenges, policy-related challenges and administrative related challenges. What are the policy-related challenges? Some of these challenges include like the cost of utility. This is an area where most of the manufacturers are expressing concern that the utility cost is high, and the president, His Excellency the President, has come in and I think directed that the power cost should be 5 cents. So that is an area where the regulator and the players of the energy sector are handling to ensure that investors get a lower utility cost. That is in terms of power. Water has been addressed. The industrial users use a lesser utility. Even on the power side, industrial users like in the industrial parks have preferential rates that really are favorable, but we still experience investors expressing concern about requests that require lower utility rate. So that is one area about the cost of utility. The other, and how has this been addressed? As I explained, water has addressed that, and the utility companies in power are addressing the issue of the utility in line with the presidential directive. The other concern that we continuously see is about tax. And what is it specifically? Investors express concern on VAT on imported services and withholding tax. And this, to them, they consider this to be a cost on their business, especially where they cannot get the service locally and they have to go outside to import a service. And then the law imposes that 18% VAT, which is not recoverable. So that becomes a bit of a disincentive as it increases the project economics. So that is one area where they have expressed concern, and we have had discussions and we have had engagements with policy, that is Ministry of Finance, to look, and Uganda Revenue Authority, to look into ways on how such investors can be, such provisions can be harmonized to make it more friendly for investors. Okay. That is one area of policy. The other area is on easing business processes. And I think that is a major concern, easing business processes. What do I mean here? Investors express concern on the delays of service. If they want a permit, they want it there and then. If they want an environmental impact assessment, they want it there and then. They want to pave a way to get out of the way for these delays so that they can invest. Yes. And what we have done as Uganda Investment Authority is to ensure that we have a one-stop center where all government institutions are housed under one roof, and that is housed under Uganda Investment Authority. What does that mean? Is that an investor can be able to enter and get all the permits and the licenses and support in the shortest possible time. At the one-stop center, which currently exists at Uganda Investment Authority, investment license, our goal is to issue an investment license in 1 hour. And we have successfully achieved that. Live examples is Uganda Coffee City 2 weeks ago got an investment license in 1 hour. Before we left 1 week ago, one investor from Chile got an investment license in 1 hour on Sunday. So as we ease these business processes, then we make the environment very friendly for investors too. to set up in Uganda. And I think that is our strategic focus as Uganda Investment Authority. We are working with government entities to ensure that we remove bureaucracy, we increase the turnaround time, we reduce the cost of doing business in Uganda. Now, allow me to just highlight key milestones that we have achieved at the one-stop center. Number one, I explained investment license can be achieved in hours. Number two, getting a tax identification number through our resident office of UIA can be achieved in 4 hours. Incorporating a company and registering a company can be achieved in 4 hours. So all these are done under a service level agreement that we have agreed with the government entities that are resident at the one-stop center. And I think that's the objective and the goal. Over to you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Muhanji, for your input. Now, you have highlighted that some of the sectors that you are promoting at the Expo is ICT, you do have mining, you also do have agriculture. Though I so believe that education would be a sector worth promotion, given that we do have ICT that is influencing the new wave of education consumption. And we are in a hub where we get to receive different markets that do give these forms of advanced forms of education. How about the education sector being promoted in this particular time and season so that we can get ideas to bring back home to help the education sector be revived once again?
First of all, and thank you very much for that question. First of all, let me draw you back to what we've been doing at Uganda Investment Authority. We have been partnering with key universities in the country to promote and attract investors into that space. And a good example here is in the West Nile, when we had an expo. We are partnering with Muni University. Muni University is so enriched in science courses, and it has a very good digital platform and ICT related products. So we signed an MOU so that we can explore opportunities from foreign direct investors like Malaysia, like China, which are very good in these digital platforms and ICT products, to partner with Muni University to excel in that area. That's one aspect that we did 1 year ago with Muni University. The other university that we partnered with was Mountains of the Moon University in Rwenzori. And we achieved this by holding an expo of Rwenzori Symposium with Mountains of the Moon. So we do recognize at our level in Uganda the importance of the education sector. Secondly, the education sector was highly impacted by COVID. That goes without doubt. We all know that. And therefore, what is the way forward? The way forward for the education sector is to bring them into the digital space, to take up those opportunities. So we have highlighted it, and it's also among the key priority segments or sector that we are promoting here in Dubai. And by the time we leave here, we are pretty sure we shall have an investor in the ICT space whom we shall partner with the relevant universities, especially in areas of science, in areas of ICT-related programs, digital programs, to really connect them to our universities and take up that opportunity. So it is high on our agenda, and we are fast-tracking it.
All right.
We have not done it now in the first 5 days, but we have it on the agenda. In the next 6 months, we are supposed to be in Dubai, or we are supposed to come to Dubai. We shall be able to bring a very, very significant investor in that space. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Muhanji Martin, who's the head of investment promotions at the Dubai Expo. Gentlemen, you've had his submissions in that regard, and I believe it has tickled a question or an inquiry or one or two from your minds. I'll start with you, Felix.
Yeah, well, of course, for me, again, it will have to trickle into our poll question. which does talk about the informal sector and how we can be able to shift the informal people, practitioners, producers, or even service deliverers to be able to tap into the potentials that Mr. Muhangi and the team are trying also to lobby that side. Like, how do we cover this gap on our side? If you get the people there, the investors are there, but how then do we prepare our society, our wananchi here to be able to tap in all these beautiful opportunities that Mr. Muhangi and your team are trying to lobby?
Mr. Muhangi, can you give us an insight into that? Because the Dubai
Expo
for 6 months, there's a lot of time that we can use to tap into those.
Very, 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 very correct. That's a very good question. What we are doing here, we are first of all promoting the key priority sectors, and we know very well that agriculture is our backbone of our economy. It employs over 70% of our population. That 70%, almost 40% is in informal. So what we are doing, and the first deal we signed was for the investor who is going to invest in the commercial agriculture. And when he comes into the commercial agriculture, and I think that's the key question he was asking, will I be supported in the initial phases or middle stage? Will I be supported by having access to outgrowers? And indeed, outgrowers are in the informal sector. And we told him, yes, this is actually what we are interested in. You come into commercial agriculture, then we connect you to outgrowers who will support you and support your factory initiatives in the initial and medium term programs. But that can also be a long-term program. So that was the first deal, and I think it is clear addressing the informal sector. And that is our target. And the area of interest was Hass avocado, macadamia nuts, and cashew nuts. And I think that's where the majority of our population is engaged in. Over 200,000 are engaged in that area. And I think that will benefit the majority of our informal players.
Okay. All right, Robert, what is your input?
Well, my concern to Mr. Muhangi is involvement. Yesterday I was meeting a group of artisans, miners, also some in the textile, and they were concerned that they feel 6 months, where has been the inclusion for them to go and showcase what they produce here. They were telling me that's more of bigger companies, organized people that have benefited from such opportunities over and over. And it seems it has closed out new entrants into this very exercise to be able to benefit from that.
Okay, let me quickly comment on that. Now, first of all, you know, budget constraints may not allow everybody to participate. We are also a skeleton of staff from our institution. But what we are doing here is bring investors nearer to the people. When we get the trade or export opportunities, we match make. And the world has showed us that you do not need to be physically present. We are now, aren't we, on Zoom? We are precisely on Zoom discussing. We can match make, we can create platforms. When you visit the UIA portal, we have created a Dubai Expo link where we are exchanging information for investors. So we can coordinate this and match make, create opportunities without necessarily being physically present. But of course, you also appreciate that there are budget constraints that may not allow everybody to participate. For example, we are here for 5 days. Tomorrow I will be back in Kampala. I cannot keep here for 6 months. The Expo is running for 6 months. So we have to utilize the digital platforms and digital space to be able to explore our opportunities and be able to take them up and enhance and we exploit these opportunities without necessarily being physically present. Over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Muhanji. People have been taking to social media to complain about the pavilion that we have at the Dubai Expo and how empty it is. There was a video shown by members of parliament indicating that there was no service, no attendance in our pavilion to take care of the other interested parties globally. What is your input and the reality on the ground and your assurance to Ugandans?
Assurance to Ugandans is that we are very active. You are very active when you are signing investment deals. The strategic focus of why we are here is to sign investment deals and bring investors into the country. And we cannot deviate from that objective. We cannot deviate from that goal. That is the goal. We must bring investors to Uganda. We must pattern the locals with the foreign investors. We must drive technology skills to Ugandans. We must create trade opportunities so that Ugandans can export these products to UAE and all over globally. UAE has the Expo, it has 190 countries that are participating here. So in the shortest time we've been here, we have actually achieved our strategic goals of driving these investments into the country. So that is my message. We must look for manufacturers. We must industrialize. We must look for all these opportunities and bring them. That is it. Everything is going on well. Now, when you look at the platforms like Twitter, if you visit the UIA Facebook page, you will see all this that is happening. We have reported them, we have disseminated them, and we are happy that you as media, you are also playing a role to show what is practically on the ground. Here I am with you. I'm explaining exactly what we've done. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Muhanji. Clearly, it's not about the baskets and the drums that are being showcased in the videos that people are rather focusing on, but the focus is on the investment portfolio that we are trying to build as a country alongside other foreigners. Now, my final question is understanding. We do have global targets. You have talked about bilateral and international relations that we also have to build for the future of this country. What are our targets in those particular regards?
In those particular regards, I do not have specifics. That is being done by at a ministerial level, and I do not have specific outputs or targets for that aspect. But what I know for sure, His Excellency the President was here and he held various meetings with the chambers of commerce, here at UAE. He held meetings with high government officials in UAE. He held government with the embassy staff. He held various meetings, and I wasn't privy to that. So that can be shared later. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Martin Muhanji, for your time. And we wish Uganda the best. And we trust that the $4 billion is going to come as a return on investment after 6 months. Good morning to you, or good afternoon.